tell me, did you see these price points?
I did! Twitch has
From
lost their
Twitch?
damn minds!
Twitch, the geniuses at that streaming company, have come out with something that they're calling an elevated chat.
Elevated.
Which really is just, I think YouTube calls it a super chat.
Yeah.
And it really just, it over highlights your messages, so it makes them appear like right at the front of chat, and they kind of stay there for a little while, and then if you send something new, it like scrolls up and keeps going like that.
Yeah, on YouTube, they just kind of pin it to the top.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It pins it, essentially. And you pay for it, and you pay for the pin, and it stays for a certain amount of time, for those of you that don't know. And the geniuses at Twitch decide, you know what, this is a cool idea. How about we do this?
But worse.
But much worse. So, the price points were revealed in there. It was like a message last week they sent out, we're doing this. And we do this because we love our viewers. And we want, we love our content creators. We want viewers to support our content creators more. So, the comparison, the worst one I found was how you can get your message pinned for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Which was, YouTube's denomination was basically $100 for 1 hour. Not great, but when you compare it to Twitch's, it doesn't even compare.
Yeah.
Because Twitch doesn't have an hour-long pin duration, but they do have a monetary value for a time limit. So for their $100, you get 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Two minutes.
2.5 minutes.
Garbage!
2.5 minutes.
It's all that money to send like a stupid little meme message.
$100 for an hour or 2.5 minutes.
Sometimes I forget that Amazon owns Twitch because they make some of the strangest decisions sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's all the corporate awfulness.
Because they can look up YouTube's rates right there and be like, oh, we should probably compare to that. Nah, let's blow it out of water. Yeah. And then secondly, it's definitely like, they're like charging ad rates, but they're not ads. They're just super chats.
Yeah. How do you think, like, I found them just by Googling the YouTube rates. You know, I don't chat on YouTube or watch really anybody on YouTube. Not that there's anything bad with it, I just don't. And I just Googled them and found the comparisons. And further compounding this, the Twitch only lets you pin your message or do a super chat for 2.5 minutes max.
Like, that's nothing. $100.
Yeah, that's literally... There's a chance that in a big stream, the streamer wouldn't even look up at that point.
Yeah. They'll be busy doing something.
Yeah, if they're like playing a very competitive game, an online game, like a FPS or whatever, they might not even look at the chat for that length of time. And YouTube, you can go max 5 hours for $500.
What a steal.
The exchange, or not the exchange rate, but the payout is 70-30 for both companies, so that's something.
Yeah.
At least it's better than 50-50, which is what it was expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the geniuses over at Twitch. I'm excited to see the backlash, by the way, was just as bad as you'd expect.
Huge. Massive.
And luckily the streamers like, don't buy into all this bullshit. Just, if you want to support us in a way, just donate to us.
Yeah.
Right? or just like, you know, continue subbing or donating or whatever you want to do. And a lot of them were also like, you don't have to do it in anything at all. Just watch us or watch our content. So,
and they're coming off the heat of some other controversy too. So one after another.
Exactly. Excited to see more how that develops. But that's not what you're here for.
That's right.
You are here for episode 46 of You're Ridiculous.
Whoa!
My name is Luke. I'm one of your hosts as always. And with me is your other glorious host, Wolf.
That's me.
Last week we talked about Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Netflix and Studio Trigger's newest baby that they've released together.
That's right.
We also talked finally about the FNAF pair controversy. Got to get through that once and for all.
Yeah.
This week, as promised, bringing back Lord of the Rings of Power, or Middle Earth, whatever the hell it's called. Rings of Power. I don't know if it's like Lord of the Rings Rings of Power or if it's just Rings of Power. I forget.
I think it's the whole thing.
Is it? Okay. Rings of Power, episode 5 and 6, as promised by us a few weeks ago.
That's right.
We already know what the show is if you've been paying attention, so we won't do a recap on that. And if you haven't been, go watch the old episodes where we do a recap.
Weird time to be tuning in.
Exactly. In the middle of our episodes and in the middle of this miniseries.
Right.
You gotta catch up. Do your homework. So, Wolf, let's talk about episode 5, shall we?
Yep.
Alright, go for it.
Alright, episode 5. We start right back in Numenor, don't we?
Yeah.
The Galadriel and Halbrand, they have their little heart-to-heart because the queen is now having second thoughts about going to Middle-earth. Yep. Because some guy, he was like the mild love interest to the sister, decided he was gonna blow up the boats to stop this from happening.
Which is funny. Well, yeah, part of it was because, he's doing a favor to the sister, minor love interest, potentially. And part of it was because he believes that they should stay in Numenor. Yeah. And so this freak blows, and he's also the son, the queen's cousin. Yep. The bearded advisor. I forget his name, but who cares? And so he attempts to blow up multiple boats, only gets through one. Yeah, because... with the escaped help of Isildur.
Yeah, he was gonna sneak along their ship so they cast off.
Yeah, because that was gonna go over well. Like, he probably would have been thrown overboard.
Tossed them aside.
That would have been really bad. Yeah, but they blow up he ends up blowing up 2 of the ships. Yeah. And Isildur saves his life from drowning.
Yeah. And fucking covers for him and doesn't tell anyone what he did.
Exactly. They just say it was some brigand.
It was a total accident. Freak accident.
Yeah. But good news for Isildur. He gets promoted, well, sort of, to stable boy.
He is allowed to come to Middle-earth.
Yeah. He's allowed to go with the crew. They sail away on 3 boats. Yeah. Pretty exciting. Finally, now we know, for those of you that have seen Lord of the Rings, how Elendil and Isildur get to Middle-earth, which is really exciting and important. I just hit a button on my keyboard, so I hope that didn't do anything.
Fool! There was a really cool fight scene between Galadriel and the trainees.
Yeah, really, really cool. You get to see a taste of what the elves actually can do. Yeah! Well, what did you think of that, seeing, like, there's been a few combats with the elves, but nothing major. That was, like, the longest one so far, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's, like, really unique to, Galadriel, because we see a lot of Arendir fighting. Yeah. But the way Galadriel fights, it's, like, almost, like, fundamentally different. It's very advanced. You can take, like, 3 people at once. It's almost like she's dancing. It was very fun to really watch. Is. Yeah, really cool. Dancing's a good way to describe it. She's super light on her feet. She's also using her enemies against themselves. Yeah. Their momentum, she's using it to aid, because they're not armored, but they are male, large, young soldiers. And she is comparatively much smaller. Yeah. So, she is an elf, so, they're never, like, super brutishly big. But, yeah, so it was super, super cool watching her, like, dance with them, as we'll put it. Really cool scene. I think it's kind of bullshit that whatever his name is, the guy that gets promoted actually scored a hit on her. I feel like she kind of let that happen. He snuck a little scratch in there while she was like, had someone in a headlock.
Yeah, she was like the first one to, like, it was effectively like the first one to land a hit on me. Will get promoted. Yeah. And they didn't even land a hit. They, like, tore some fabric.
Yeah, he was like, I'll give it to you since no one else managed to touch me.
Yeah, she's like, this is embarrassing at this point.
Let me stop.
I thought that Isildur was going to pick up the sword and land the hit on her.
Oh, that'd been
And cool. That's how he would get on the boat.
Ah, nothing that cool for him.
I know, and he's not so lucky. He got promoted to stable sweep instead by his dad. But it all ends up working out for him. What's next? We see Durin and Elrond go back to Lindon.
Ah, yeah. They have their little dinner party.
They do. They have their dinner party. Elrond is welcomed home by Gil-galad, the High King, and Celebrimbor. And Durin gives this amazing speech about a table. About how this special stone is worshipped among his kind and only used in monuments and burials for the dead. Yeah, graves for the dead.
And we're eating off of it.
And Gil-galad's, we'll send it home with you. Sorry for disrespecting you. And later on, we find out that another amazing scene. Elrond is like, you made it all up, didn't you? That was so good.
Give him a fooled him.
Yeah, he's like, Dissa has been wanting a new table for years.
Now they got it.
The best part about that is that Durin and Dissa are royalty. So if they wanted a table, they could, within one day, get a table. Though it's the fact that Durin knows that the elves are hiding something from him, and he decides, one way to get him back is I'm gonna fucking yoink your table.
Yeah, turns the tables on him.
Oh, he did.
I guess the king? Is it like the king elf? What is he? That's questioning him?
He's the high king of the elves.
Yeah, he's like prying for information, and Durin just, about this table.
Yeah. Yeah, because Gil-galad's like, your forges have been pretty active recently. What's inspired you guys to, reignite everything?
Yeah, what are you doing down there, you sneaky fucks?
And Durin obviously doesn't want to tell him that they found Mithril.
Yeah, they don't deserve to know.
Yeah, it's true. And later, what the conversation with Elrond and Gil-galad, what do they have?
Oh, he tells Elrond that the elves are effectively dying. At least that's what they suspect.
Yeah.
Because the tree is all icky.
It is icky. It's like all infected and gross looking. Looks like something out of Stranger Things.
It does! Black goop spreading like veins.
Yeah. And the Gil-galad says the light of the Eldar is fading, which essentially is, if you're not aware of like the story that Elrond tells about the elf and the Balrog and the tree and everything, that like really cool flashback scene.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that they're talking about with Gil-galad about the trees dying and their light fading. Don't look it up because it's incredibly complicated and all bullshit. It's a lot of like suspected redundancy.
I see.
Essentially, all of it is, what they're talking about is that the blessing that the god, the I can't say his name. Eru Iluvatar, the god of, like, the one who created everything, and the one who created the elves all, literally millions and millions of years ago. The blessing of Eru and the other Valar that they gave to the elves, that blessing is fading. And so eventually, they're going to lose all their cool powers and abilities and will eventually become mortal is the main issue. And that's all you really need to know. All the other stuff is, it's just lore stuff that's like kind of complicates the story, but essentially just, their blessing is going away.
Yeah.
So sad for them. And
I suspect bringing it up on themselves, knowing what we do.
True. They suspect that if Gil-galad said they bathe in the light of Mithril, it will restore their light of Elendil.
They also thought the tree was rotting because of Galadriel, which is why part of why they sent her away.
Yeah, they said she's like further spreading the corruption with her hate or whatever.
Yeah. They send her away, and it gets worse.
It got worse. It did get worse. But, so, it's not said, but it's pretty obviously that, to me at least, that the whole tree thing is really just not so much what they're suspecting, and really just Sauron's whatever Sauron's doing behind the scene.
Yeah.
I think it seems pretty clear to me that it's Sauron's doing and not whatever this bullshit is.
Yeah, they think it's like metaphorical or something. Like, oh, they're being punished because they're doing something wrong. But no, it's literally just Sauron.
Yeah, it's like his his rise to power. He's doing some bad shit.
Because the cow was all black and inky too.
Exactly, right. Which you can't forget. That's from the first episode. So, yeah, and then I guess they sort of wrap that up. Oh, Elrond, I guess, eventually tells Durin that his his reasoning for being sent to Khazad-dûm, the place of the dwarves, while he didn't know it, was to search for Mithril.
Yep.
We also see that Elrond tells Durin that we need the Mithril, and he accepts.
He does indeed.
Well, he says, assuming my father says yes.
Yeah. But who would say no to that? Because he pretty much, sells it as the elves are dying. From their point of view, it is the truth. So, I think we know differently, but... The elves are becoming mortal, and he's like, we're gonna turn into dust and die instantly if you don't help us.
And Durin's like, he's like, say it again. It's so funny. Durin is one of the best characters so far.
He's peak.
The dwarves are really good, and their friendship is also quality.
Yeah, it's saved. They didn't bungle it.
Indeed.
Fake drama.
Stupid Gilgalad tried to get him to ruin his pact.
Yeah. Although he basically it's such a funny conversation because he basically does confirm, yeah, they have the mithril, he just won't say it. He's like, I made a pact not to talk about it.
He's like, do they have the mithril? He's like, I cannot confirm. He's like wildly shaking his head up and down. I cannot confirm.
I cannot say yes or no, but there was a pact made. But so I do know something.
Pact to not talk about something.
Thanks for spelling it out for us.
And I guess it's also revealed to Elrond that his main purpose was sort of deceived from the start.
Yeah.
They took him on because they knew he had a friendship with Durin, or they, as in Celebrimbor and Gilgalad, knew that he had a friendship with Durin and that they were suspecting Mithril was found, and that's important for the elves. So, but, moving on from them, we see Poppy and the stranger.
The hobbits.
Yeah.
They're on their trek. And my god, the rest of the crew just fucking books it. They're like not even the same biome. They're like miles ahead of the family.
They do that classic Scooby-Doo running scene where they're like in the air for a second, like moving with their legs and then zooming out of the scene. And they're fucking gone.
Oh man.
They don't wait. In fact, there's a couple times where we see the older guy, Sadok, with the other
his two ladies.
Yeah, old biddies.
Yeah, I think they're kind of advisors, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. Sort of spiritual advisors or part of the clan, basically. It seems like the ladies want them gone.
Oh, yeah.
And Sadok's, clearly has some empathy for them and doesn't fully agree with the choice to fully get rid of them. But what can he do,
Yeah. What's wild is that they left behind Poppy, too. Because I don't think Poppy's lagging behind to stick with them. I think that is as fast as she can go. Because she's carrying her own home. Alone.
Yeah. Right. I don't think it was ever said that Poppy had to be in the back.
No.
I agree. I think she ended up in the back because nobody helps her.
Yeah.
Because if you remember from episode 3 or something, we find out that all of Poppy's family is dead from one of the travels. They didn't make it.
Yeah, the last one. They died in a mudslide.
Yeah. So Poppy is carrying her entire family home alone. Unfortunate for her. But we did get... What did you think of Poppy's song?
Oh, Poppy's song slaps.
Oh, it was so good. I loved it. It felt like a classic Tolkien song.
Ooh.
It was excellent. It also, probably the most famous Tolkien line is "Not all who wander are lost."
Yeah.
And that was in the song.
Ah.
Like, it was one of the repeating chorus lines, and it was chef's kiss. Really good. It was a great scene. So.
Really doing it for you.
Yeah. Fans of Tolkien writing will really appreciate that song. It was great. But that pretty much wraps up episode 5, right?
No, that was a bit more towards the end, because it ends with Nori having second thoughts about the stranger. Because
yeah, that scene.
They notice first Poppy and Nori notice wolf tracks. It's funny, the wolves look less like wolves than the wargs.
Yeah.
They look like just large boars.
Yeah, the snouts are a bit off, aren't they?
Yeah, but anyways, the stranger scares them off, which saves the Poppy and the advisor lady and Nori. Yep. Of course, what he did really hurt his arm, so he's icing it in some puddle. But Nori, the fool, touches it for some reason while he's doing that.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And of course, her hand gets frozen too. And he's doing his magic shit, so he's not fully there.
Yeah, he's in a trance, basically.
Yeah. And that spooked her, I guess, and so she's feeling some type of way.
Yeah, we don't really know how that sort of continues, but it was an interesting scene. Also, further makes me think that the stranger is Gandalf.
Yeah. Oh, we saw school shooter Sauron.
I was just gonna get to that. But, so Gandalf, or not Gandalf, but suspectedly Gandalf, speaking in weird languages, which he does in Lord of the Rings. Quenya is one of the elven languages that they use for all their magical shit. So that's most likely what he's doing, an early version of that. He's got sort of elemental powers, and that's, wizards have that. So I'm further, it's further cementing the idea that this is Gandalf. Yeah. Or an early version of him. Which also makes me think that it definitely isn't. That they're gonna pull some old switcheroo on us.
And it's just some guy.
It's just some other wizard or Maya or whatever, but we'll see. And then yes, we did get a 2-minute scene where we see Sauron staring at a crater.
That sure is a hole.
Wolf and I had the best idea for a sitcom.
Yeah.
So that was really funny, but I'm not going to share it because you shills will steal it.
That's right. Got to keep it to ourselves.
That's right. Yeah, we do. We didn't really see much. They just kind of inspected the crater.
Yeah, I guess they're looking for the stranger.
Yeah, presumably Sauron knows or has seen craters like this before. He probably saw the meteor fall from the sky and knows likely what it is and what they're looking for. So yeah. I would not be surprised if Sauron's crew ran into the Harfoots at one point. But yeah, that was pretty much it. It was a good episode.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of episode 2, where it was a lot of information. It was a big info dump without that much happening, but it was all really important stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, still really good. What would you rate it at 10?
Solid 8.
I think this one's a 7 for me, but still really good.
Kind of forgot a lot of what happened in it.
I forgot a lot of what happened after I watched episode 6. Because that's the juicer.
Yeah.
Which I guess we can move right along to episode 6.
Yeah. Episode 6.
That was the one you just watched.
It is. Where does it start?
I don't know.
I think, does it start in the village? I think it starts in the village.
It starts in the village for sure.
So yeah, Adar's army is on the way to the tower, basically. And Arondir fucking Home Alones them.
Oh, that scene was so cool.
Yeah. They pile in, and he shoots some strap that's holding the main tower together, and that just crumbles and just crushes the majority of them. But then he falls, he jumps down, kicks some random piece of wood, and that tumbles down a domino effect, shuts the doors on them so they can't run out as the tower is crumbling.
Yeah, there's a rope strapped to a big piece of lumber, which is on the opposite end is the bucket that he kicks.
Yeah.
Full of like rocks or something. And that once that tumbles down, the wood piece closes the open doors.
Yep.
And so they're trapped.
That was really cool.
Since they're dumb, they're orcs, they can't figure out how to open the door. Really cool scene. Very reminiscent of like the shit that Legolas does in the movies.
Ooh.
It's like over the top acrobatics and all ridiculous stunts and everything. Really cool. Really enjoyable. And then Arondir makes his way back down and regroups with the other humans or other villagers, and they go to the village.
Yeah, they reclaim it.
Yep, they take it back over. They prepare all their like traps and booby stuffs. All the
booby stuffs.
Booby stuff. If you heard it, this is the only podcast where you can get booby stuff. I didn't want to say traps twice, but booby traps. So they everything, they set up their defenses, I should say.
Yeah.
And what happens with that?
Oh, they fuck them up. They like the main trap was like 2 wagons full of fire that will like cut them off and then trap them into place so they couldn't like ravage the village. And it works.
Yeah.
And they beat their ass and they win the fight. Arondir almost gets his ass kicked, almost gets his eye stabbed out.
Let me talk about this for a second. Cause I did not like this scene. I loved the fighting part of it was really cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was fun to see Arondir fight hand-to-hand combat against an orc. But it's just an orc. And Arondir's a fucking in his prime as an elf. As a male elf.
Particularly bricked up orc, I guess.
Right, okay, and I have no problem with that. Because in Lord of the Rings, Saruman, one of the antagonists, creates the Uruk-hai, which are like the bricked up orcs. Okay, Ooh. They're like twice as big, they're like twice as strong, immune to more shit, and that's what it felt like this orc was trying to be, but it can't be because they're not created yet.
Right.
So this is just supposed to be some average orc, and surely Arondir, the only thing that happened to him was he fell off a house, which sounds bad. But he, like, rolled off, like, 2 trusses of the house. And
it's a medieval house, so it's really short. Like, when he stands, you're eye line with the roof. Yeah. So it's not even that bad. So why is he would have died if Bronwyn didn't help him. Most likely. Unless, like, he found some strength within him. Or at minimum, just lost the eye.
Yeah, exactly. He could have just lost the eye like the orc did.
Yeah, eye for an eye.
So I didn't like that so much, but that's sort of like nitpicking. I still really like the scene overall. Yeah. I just feel like it shouldn't have been that much of a fight.
Yeah, it was weird. Guess that orc did some extra push-ups before he showed up.
That orc drank all his G Fuel.
Yeah, because he was fucking that thing up. Even when he was on the ground, he then got the orc down onto the ground with him on his level. Yeah, like, he stabbed him in the leg a bunch of times and kicked it out from under him. That was really cool. Yeah. Resourceful.
He was doing cool stuff. Cool stuff indeed. And Bronwyn had to save his ass.
Yeah. A little slashy slash.
Everyone needs a little help as a treat. But what happened after the fight? Because that was quite the twist.
It does. It turns out, what's his face? Arondir notices that the blood coming from one of the wounded is red. And everyone takes a closer look, and it turns out the vast majority of the soldiers they were fighting were humans.
Right, which are
the traitorous humans from before.
Exactly, the ones that left and decided to swear fealty to Adar.
Yeah, fucked him over doubly.
Yeah, obviously, if you don't know by now, orc, which you should have from the last scene alone, orc blood is black. Yeah. Adar knows not Adar, but Arondir knows because he got a fucking a whole spigot full.
A whole mouthful.
He knows.
Looks like he's been eating black licorice. Dyed his damn teeth black.
Got a whole fucking open your mouth. Oh, terrible, gross. And orc blood is like thick and black like tar.
Ugh.
Is the way it's described.
Disgusting.
It is gross. So obviously Adar was keen-eyed to see that blood was red. So obviously the villagers ended up fighting their own kind, not too keen on that, and then the rest of the real orc battalion comes in and ambushes it. Not really ambushes, but
they charge
comes out
in.
of the trees. Yeah,
they fire a bunch of arrows, take out a bunch of people.
They sure do.
Learned how to use those bows and arrows over the episodes.
God, they sucked so much last time.
Now they were hitting all their targets.
They got aim assist on. And, they pretty much just start beating them down. Eventually they get drawn back into the tavern. And Arondir finds the blade.
Oh, no, Arondir did a shit job of hiding it again.
Yeah, sorry, not Arondir. Adar finds the blade that Arondir hid.
Elves could see everything, like twice the length of a human, and yet he still can't manage to make sure the coast is clear when he's hiding the fucking blade.
Yeah. Stupid Theo.
Because not just Theo saw him, the fucking old man saw him.
Sure did.
But that's for later.
Yeah. Yeah, they get the blade, or Adar gets the blade, and just as things are about to go bad, our friends from Numenor show up.
They're here!
The cavalry arrived!
On their horses, they fuck them up.
Yeah, that's what cavalry means. Okay, this scene, another bullshit. Why was this even close at all? They're on horses! They should trample these fucks and it should not be close.
The fools started hopping off the horses to swing their dicks around.
There's like several times where it's like three orcs grabbing the reins of this horse and just like holding it in place. Like, this is not accurate. Like,
horse would be flipping its shit.
Yeah,
and who the fuck are you?
And the rider has weapons.
Dude, just start jabbing at him.
There's a very famous scene in one of the Lord of the Rings movies where there's like 8,000 orc army and a group of like maybe 2,000 cavalrymen all on horseback and everything.
Yeah.
Charge, and the smaller group eats them alive. Literally destroys them because they're on horses.
Those horses make a difference.
Right, horses are OP in combat. Anybody, you don't even have to know fantasy. Anybody that's a history buff knows that the introduction of cavalry was broken, just like the introduction of shotguns and trenches. That's the comparison. So I thought that was even worse than like Arondir fighting.
Yeah.
Like, this should not be close. There's also a ton of them.
There are. Like, triply more than there are orcs at that
That's
moment.
what it seemed like. Anyways, still a cool scene, of course.
They had so many people, they had enough to just wait on the sidelines and watch over.
The queen's unit was just like on top of the mountain.
I guess I got this covered.
And she's like, yeah, go help him out. Just sends a seal door. The stable sweep.
They're not even like looking for stragglers. They're just standing there.
I know.
Cause stragglers escaped.
I like that. The idea, presumably, like, us as an audience don't know that the queen really knows who Isildur is. Like, they've never met or anything.
Right.
And so, what we can, as viewers, guess from this is that for reinforcements for her cavalry that are somehow losing, she sends in the stable sweep as reinforcements. Now, lucky for her, it just happens to be the captain's son.
Yeah.
Who has been trained to do all this and everything. So, it worked out. But from our point of view, she's just sending in the stable sweep.
He looks so excited. I'll let him go.
Go to them. Help them out. Wait, you forgot your broom and bucket.
I was sending you there to sweep up the mess, not stab anyone.
But we get a cool chase scene with Galadriel versus Adar.
Yeah. Galadriel on her horse is also really cool. She like did that thing where she like flipped off of it halfway.
Oh yeah, she's like caught herself in her stirrups and like avoided some arrows.
Yeah,
really
they had her
cool.
do it twice. They couldn't just do it once.
That was too cool. Elves are always fun to watch in combat.
Yeah, she's chasing Adar down because he's got the hilt, or at least what he thinks is the hilt.
Yep. Well, what she thinks is the hilt.
Do you think so? When do you think the switch happened?
The switch happened right outside, right before combat. Remember, Adar gets the blade and he's like, oh, what's that guy? Like, that old man traitor. I forget his name.
Yeah.
But he's like, I need you to do something for me.
Oh.
Right outside the tavern, right before the cavalry showed up. Adar's like, I need you to do something for me.
Oh,
and
that's
right when
past
the switch happened. Yep. It's a small scene, but he's like, he's talking to the guy. He's like, I need you to do something. That's when the scene happened. Then the cavalry show up right after.
I see.
It's kind of weird that happened right, like, in between two really exciting scenes.
Yeah.
Like, we get the tavern fight scene between them, and then we get the cavalry ride in, and right before that we get the switch happen.
Yeah.
So that was a little weird, or a little weirdly placed, but it worked out. The switch is less when the switch happened is less important than
that it happened.
There was a switch that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I didn't even notice that the switch happened. I just thought it happened earlier, like off screen, implied.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was implied. That was really all that happened, is that they have the actual hilt and he says, I need you to do something for me.
Yeah.
Or something of that similarness.
But yeah, chases him down. Halbrander comes in clutch, trips the horse.
Another minor nitpick, the sheer like strength that Halbrand would need to not have his spear immediately knocked away by that horse. That man is he is fucking yoked.
Didn't even flinch. That shit had to hurt.
It was like when you put a broom handle in between a bicycle spokes. Completely tripped the horse. Obviously the horse is fine. It gets up right away.
It's like bothered, like, what was that?
But Adar eats a massive amount of shit. And then Halbrand obviously has some beef with him.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll find out more about that later, yeah. And then gets captured. We take, allegedly, the hilt back.
Yeah.
And their plan is to throw it into the sea when Numenor leaves the lands.
Yeah. Which, awful plan.
Yeah, but you want to talk, it is an awful plan. You want to talk about Galadriel's interview with him? Or interrogation, I guess?
Oh, yeah. They're having a little chat. And she's like, where's Sauron? You clearly work for him. Which, we find out, I think in the previous episode, he doesn't actually work for Sauron. He's acting on his own.
Yeah. And in fact, he says he killed Sauron.
Yeah. Because he had enough.
Yeah.
He actually cares quite a lot about his orcs.
Yeah, we find out through this interrogation that he is one of the original orcs ever created by Morgoth, who obviously created the orcs by corrupting the elves.
Yeah.
And we find out that he is one of the first and one of the last that are actually alive.
Yeah.
And he decides that he wants to, or the story that he says is that he had enough of Sauron sacrificing the orcs for his own, experiments. Yeah, experiments. And he said he killed Sauron in defense of what are now the current orcs.
Yeah.
They go through several different stages. After Morgoth twisted and corrupted the first ones, and so he's like, yeah, we prefer Uruks.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because when I said the beefed up versions that are in Lord of the Rings, they're called Uruk-hai. And so it's the same word, and then it's -HAI, Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool. It's a tie back and everything. That was cool to see. So, yeah, now we know a lot more about Adar.
Yeah, his whole plan was he's taking over the Southlands because they don't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah, so we find out, for keen viewers of the show, we remember that there was a message intercepted when they go to the Library of Lore in Numenor, when Elendil and Galadriel go there. And we find out a message was intercepted that Morgoth had a plan, in case of his downfall, they had a plan to create a land for the orcs and for evil to thrive and spread and flourish.
Yeah.
And so that's what we find out that Adar is attempting to do.
That tunnel wasn't just for walking around.
Yeah. And we find out that everything that they're doing there is in attempt to enact Morgoth's plan.
Yeah.
To create a land for them to live on and to flourish and everything. And then shit goes down.
Oh yeah, fucking Arendir hands off what he thinks is the sword to Tate. Theo. And for a second I thought,
did you say Tate?
No. I did say Tate.
Hands it off to Andrew Tate.
No. And for a second I thought Theo was gonna have like his evil moment.
I did too.
Take the sword for himself.
Yeah,
but he unwraps it, which apparently no one else thought to do, and it's a fucking axe.
It is. They fooled them.
And it was nothing.
They fooled them.
They didn't think it felt a little off. They didn't. This L-shaped thing.
They didn't think it was literally just an axe. And then the axe, we find out the hilt is a key.
Yeah, I think they did mention that it was a key, but they're like, I don't know what it's for, though, or where it goes.
Yeah, Arondir said in episode 5 that it's a key for something that they need.
Yeah.
And what happens then?
He sticks it into the ground, some slot, turns it, and just water starts the dam lowers.
Yeah,
that borders the sea. And it floods the tunnels, the valley, everything. And then it all yoinks back to a fucking volcano. I guess it was inactive, but it sure is active now. And it triggers an eruption.
Yeah. Water mixed with molten magma and lava do not mix. So it fucking erupts the volcano. This extreme... Oh, and everybody runs away and Galadriel just stays in the smoke.
Yeah.
Because she's a freak like that.
It was very cinematic.
It was. A very cool scene, all of it. This, very important for Key, or not even Key, but anyone who's seen Lord of the Rings knows where this is going. Would you like to see what this land turns into, Wolf?
Give me the goods.
There you go.
Holy shit!
So, for those that not aware, this mountain is clearly Mount Doom in Lord of the Rings. It's also where that's Sauron's tower.
Oh, they want to live there!
Yeah, it's, that's the land of evil, the land of Mordor. What I sent Wolf is just a modern day picture of Mordor. One of the first Google searches for those interested, but yeah, they're creating the land for the orcs.
It's shit.
It is.
They should ask for more.
Shit. It is shit.
I guess it's cloudy enough that they don't need tree coverage anymore, but I think they would have preferred the trees.
Yeah, that's one of the points, is that there's so much smoke and darkness and everything through evil and volcano that the sunlight can't pierce through the clouds. And so the orcs just get to roam around all day doing, having a party.
Doing fuck all, because there's nothing there.
Well, that's like a broad pick. There's like fortresses and stuff. Okay. There's other stuff.
They're just living out in the desert. They sit on the ground all day because there's nothing.
There's still not that much there anyways, but at least they can walk around without wearing like fucking ponchos.
At what cost?
There's not even a bowling alley.
I know!
Oh my god. So, speaking of the bowling alleys, to kind of go off a tangent, there's a classic line in Lord of the Rings where the party of orcs find two hobbits, and they say, look, they find 2 hobbits, and they say, no, we can't eat these guys. One of the orcs is like, okay, well, we can still eat them. We can eat their legs or whatever. They don't need their legs. And the orc captain cuts off this other orc's head and says, looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. And so they start eating the first orc.
Yeah.
Which then implies that there's like a fast food joint in Middle Earth because of the menu. It's pretty funny.
Go to my Middle Earth McDonald's.
Don't worry, this place may look like a desert now, but once it gets like an Arby's and a Wendy's and everything, it'll be fine.
Oh, it'll just look like Arizona.
Oh no. Fuck, go back. Not Arizona. I've been to Arizona once, never want to go there again.
It's awful.
It is. It's literally, Arizona is just Middle Earth. Or Mordor. It's just Mordor. All gloomy and a million degrees.
Oh, bad.
But, so what do we think about episode 6?
Episode 6, clutch. A solid 8 or 9.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I think this is a 9.5.
Ooh.
I really liked it. Besides all my nitpicking that's really largely irrelevant.
Yep.
I really liked it. It was definitely the most action-packed one so far.
Yeah.
By quite a bit. It also sets the stage for a lot of, like, this one was exciting, and I think we can expect future episodes to be close to as exciting.
Yeah. I mean, we only got 2 more.
Unfortunately. What are we going to do then? We're going to be all out of content.
I'll be lost.
The podcast will shut down.
Can't wait for the wargs to make their final comeback.
With all their nipples and everything.
Yeah. Oh, and what's his face? Adar escaped.
He did, somehow. He was chained up.
Yeah, I contortionist his way out of it.
True. Cut his wrist off. But yeah, he did escape, and the last scene is Galadriel just like accepting the flames of the volcano eruption.
Yeah.
Which we know she'll be fine because she's in the
city.
future movies. Yeah. She'll be fine. So she's got plot armor.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for future episodes. They should be really cool.
Yeah.
I have not seen nearly as much hate about these 2 episodes as previous ones.
Oh yeah, about time.
They're accepting that this is a quality ass show. So, yeah, really good. But I think that wraps up episode 5 and 6 of The Rings of Power.
Woo!
Definitely go check them out if you haven't already. Of course, you've now been spoiled by it.
True. Watch it for the fight scenes. They're really good fight scenes.
It's all really, like, even the non-combative scenes, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really, really well done. And you get to hear Poppy's song, which is a 10 out of 10.
True.
Yeah, really good. But, finishing off our episode, we have Rain's Question of the Week.
Ooh.
What do you got for us?
Video game. Oh, what's a video game that you once picked up that you couldn't put back down until you finished it?
That was terrible. That was awful. That was gotta be one of your worst ones recently.
No!
Terrible. Alright. What's yours?
Mine would be Boyfriend Dungeon.
I almost said that. I literally almost said that just because you finished it in like a day.
And the way I finished it was ridiculous because I maxed out everyone's route. And I didn't realize you could save. So I went most of the time without saving.
That was the best part. You found out like almost like 90% of the way done that you could save.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Alright, well, I should have guessed yours, but I bet you can guess mine.
I swear to God, if you say Madagascar.
Okay, I'm not gonna say Madagascar. That one actually was extremely good, as viewers of the show will know. 10 out of 10 games, but it's hard for me to answer because I get really obsessed with games for quite a while and then put them down.
Yeah.
Like hyper invested in everything. But I'd say the one that and this is sort of a cheating as well because it's technically not a game that you finish, but, or that ends, I should say. but Stardew Valley is my answer. So I played with you for the first time. You introduced me to the game.
Yeah.
We played on a group gaming sesh, and I was like, it was like, okay, this is not bad, right? Like, you know, I'm enjoying it because I just enjoy gaming with friends more than I do gaming solo. But then you're like, you suggested play the single player in conjunction with our friend playthrough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And then that's where the obsession set in.
It kicked in.
That's because then I learned everything on my own.
Yeah.
Without being told or without having to guess or question or anything. So I played nonstop for probably a week until I finished the first year. And I would say, like, once you finish the first, 2 years of Stardew, you're kind of done.
Pretty much.
Like, I mean, you can keep playing, you can keep upgrading, there's always more stuff to do, different stuff to try out, but, most of the, content that plays is within the first 2 years.
Yeah, I believe it's the second year you can, put a diamond offering up and you'll get, a rating for your playthrough.
Yeah. And even that point, at that point, you're pretty much done, because all the holidays are the same as well.
Yeah.
So you can, get married, I think, after the first year and everything, but... So there's definitely stuff to do after, the first 2 years, but... That's most of it. And so I kind of just binged that game for a solid, week and a half. while also playing with you and some friends.
Yeah, you were all in.
I was. That game is great, as everybody knows. Let us know what game that you couldn't put down was. Let us know on TikTok, on the YouTube comments, or not on TikTok, on Twitter, I should say.
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, or the YouTube comments. Or leave a review and tell us there.
True. Maybe a Your Ridiculous TikTok account to come.
One day.
Who knows? May stick around to find out if we do that. But, with that, Wolf, why don't you take it away?
I'm Wolf, taking things away. Thank you for watching episode 46 of You're Ridiculous. Woo! If you liked all that, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified of the next episode. If you're watching on a podcast episode, hit the plus and give us 5 stars. We hope to see you all again next week, but until then, you can follow us across the internet on Instagram and Twitter as the main cast at ridiculous_cast. You can follow Lucas at 7AngryWasp with an E, and you can follow me at Rainbow Wolf without the W. Links below in the description. We hope to see you all next week. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.